You never know what you're going to find when you're traveling. And I stopped at the General Pershing boyhood home, parked, and I had walked to the corner of Prairie and Olive to get a picture of the sign when I discovered this park, and it turns out it is dedicated to General John Pershing and his boyhood home. And so let's take a walk and see what this park has to offer, because I have no clue. I've not done any research. Hi, I'm Colleen, and I travel to small towns. I find the fun and share the adventure with you. Join me today as I visit the General Pershing Memorial Walk in Laclede, Missouri. If you want to read what's on screen, please pause the video. In 1923, Congress established the American Battle Monuments Commission, and families were given the option of having their loved ones sent home or relocated to an American cemetery on foreign soil. This is the story of those who remain behind in cemeteries dedicated to those who served in World War I. What's the Pershing connection? He chaired the commission from its inception to his death in 1948. The Meuse-Argonne cemetery sits on land captured by the 37th and 5th Divisions. Many of the soldiers were killed during the Meuse-Argonne offensive, a 47-day battle in 1918 that helped to end the war. Those killed include Marion Crandall. Fluent in French, she is the first active servicewoman killed in action. Nurse Caroline Chrisman, Nurse Annie Revelry, Nurse Charlotte Cox, each of whom died of Spanish flu, and Dorothy Millman, who died of gallbladder issues. Corporal Freddie Stowers, whose original Medal of Honor recommendation was lost. And Aisne Day, Medal of Honor recipient and namesake of Luke Air Force Base, 21-year-old Lieutenant Frank Luke. At the time of my visit, that red building was not yet approved for opening, but it is a General Pershing museum. The Surin American Cemetery contains the remains of soldiers from both World War I and World War II, with 24 unknown soldiers from World War II lying at rest. It is the final resting place of two sets of siblings, including the Cromwell sisters, nurses, who were awarded France's Croix de la Valeur Militaire, the Cross for Military Valor. They are buried side by side. And Inez Crittenden, a telephone operator, a hello girl, and an early leader of other hello girls. The Aisne-Marne Cemetery sits adjacent to the Bellawood battlefield. That battle, according to Pershing, was for the U.S. the biggest battle since Appomattox and the most considerable engagement American troops had ever had with a foreign enemy. In a graceful curving arc, soldiers are laid to rest near a chapel damaged during World War II. Medal of Honor recipient Whedon Osborne, killed while carrying a wounded officer to safety, is among those soldiers. Although considered closed, a 1988 burial occurred when the body of a soldier believed to be a Marine was found in a nearby farm. Because the dog tags were unreadable, he is another unknown soldier. In 1921, one unknown soldier from each of the four cemeteries was considered to lie in the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington. The three not selected now lie at Aisne-Marne. The chapel still possesses damage from heavy fighting during World War II, with a single hole located at the entrance, all other damage having been repaired. Nearby ground still contains some battlefield trenches. More than 500,000 Americans fought at the Saint Mihiel offensive. The graves at Saint Mihiel American Cemetery surround a sundial topped with the carving of an American eagle, inscribed with the Pershing quote, "Time will not dim the glory of their deeds." In the cemetery's memorial is a granite urn with the winged horse of war, Pegasus, taking an immortal soul on its final journey, a fitting tribute. John Hunter Wickersham of Denver, Colorado, is the only Medal of Honor recipient at San Miel. Suffering from multiple severe wounds, he provided medical attention to others and continued to fight before succumbing to his injuries. Also, here is Sidney Cowley from New York City, who died February 8th, 1918. Those details in this photo are all I could locate about him. Both are among the many heroes at rest at San Miel. At rest at Somme American Cemetery are three Medal of Honor recipients. 25-year-old Lieutenant William Turner, who rushed multiple enemy machine guns to disable them and their crew before being surrounded and killed in a counterattack. 23-year-old Private Robert Blackwell. When the platoon was nearly surrounded by the enemy, he volunteered to go through extreme danger to pass the message the platoon was in need of reinforcements. 23-year-old Corporal Thomas O'Shea was behind enemy lines when he and two other soldiers heard cries of help coming from a disabled American tank. Rushing to help, they encountered heavy enemy fire. He was wounded and killed. Others include Dr. William Fitzsimmons, the first officer killed during World War I, George Seibold, listed as MIA. He's the son of Gracie Seibold, founder of the Gold Star Mothers. Private Dalton, originally listed as missing in action, his body was recovered in 1965. He's the only soldier in the cemetery to be listed as missing and laid to rest. 7 unknown soldiers buried in 1972 share a common resting place. The Wazan American Cemetery is the final resting place of poet Joyce Kilmer, author of the poem Trees, and an unknown soldier buried June 2023, 90 years after the last burial. His ceremony included the Purple Heart, a color guard, a band, a volley of shots, the playing of taps, white roses, and a World War I biplane flyover. It is also the final resting place of World War II soldiers dishonorably discharged and executed. No flag flies over their grave. Brookwood American Cemetery is a cemetery within a cemetery. It lies within the Brookwood Military Cemetery, which is maintained by England's Commonwealth War Graves Commission. It's the final resting place of two Medal of Honor recipients: Osmond Ingram, the first Navy sailor casualty of World War I, whose body was never found after the USS Cassin was torpedoed, and Gustav Sundquist, whose Medal of Honor is for bravery in the Spanish-American War and who drowned during World War I. The Flanders Field Cemetery is the smallest maintained by the Commission and the only one in Belgium. It takes its name from the John McCrae poem, In Flanders Field. Among those buried here are members of the 91st Division, who fought on this ground from October 30th to November 11th in 1918. To learn more about these cemeteries, visit the American Battle Monuments Commission at abmc.gov.